Welcome to another episode of Don't Call It Small. I'm your host, Natasha Foreman. If you don't know me and you have no clue what this podcast is all about, let me share a bit. I'm the CEO of ForemanLLC, and Don't Call It Small is where we talk all things business, share tips and news that you can use, and highlight the people and ideas behind the products and services that we buy. To learn more about me and my company, please visit ForemanLLC.com. Woo! It's Wednesday, October 16th. Isn't it awesome? I don't know about you, but this is an awesome day. Let me start off by wishing my two cousins a very happy birthday. My maternal cousin, Tyron, and my other maternal cousin, Princess Cherie Peoples, aka the People's Princess. I wish you both a very happy birthday. I love you, Rita Bug. Also this week is my godson Kyler's birthday. He'll be 10 years old this week. Oh my goodness. Now, if you haven't already purchased Kyler's book, you know he has this new book, I Define Me. If you have not purchased I Define Me, you need to hurry and buy it. I don't know how many times I got to tell you this. You can purchase one or more copies on Amazon. It'll be a great way to celebrate Kyler's birthday and National Dyslexia Awareness Month, which is this month. As a matter of fact, since next week is also my birthday, go ahead and buy 3 copies. That's right. That'll be an extra special birthday gift, don't you think? Yeah, buy 3 copies. Speaking of my birthday and Kyler's new book, he'll be doing another book signing on my birthday. Yep. If you don't know the date, it's October 27th. Write it down, put it on your calendar, keep it in your mental memory. Kyler will be at Posman Books at the Ponce City Market from 2 to 4 p.m. on the 27th of October, and that is located at 675 Ponce de Leon Avenue in Atlanta. He'll be reading and signing his book. So if you purchase his book today, that means you can bring it to the book signing on the 27th, and he can sign it for you. Sounds like a plan to me. Now you just need to make it happen. All right, we need to support our youth, our youthpreneurs, our young authors and readers. Now, next week I'll shout out more birthday folks. I also want to make sure I can shout out business anniversaries. So if you have a business anniversary this month, if you're launching your business this month, please text us at area code 404-481-1849 and share your business name and the month, day, and year your company's launch. All right, now moving right along. What else do I have to share with you? Yes. Last week, episode 16, we discussed Wallet Hub's list of best and worst states for business startups, and I compared their list to CNBC's. Remember that? All right, good. Now, I also share with you my opinion about the list and my suggestions for business startups and those who've been towing the line for a while. If you did not hear that episode, I want you to tune in, listen to it, because it's be very helpful for you. Go to my company's website, ForemanLLC.com. That's ForemanLLC.com/podcast, or click on episode 16 using whichever platform that you're currently listening to me. Now, today we're going to talk about all the ways to support entrepreneur startups and those that need a business overhaul or that are currently performing an overhaul. I'll also share a few entrepreneurs that you can reach out to, I think you should get to know, do business with, either as a client or provider or both. So let's start off with some business news. If you didn't know, the U.S. and China are slowly getting towards a deal both sides can live with, hopefully. Right now they're in phase 1. Details aren't fully disclosed, but what's been said so far is that those planned tariff hikes of the $250 billion worth of Chinese goods would go in effect, which is a whew, because yesterday would have been a doozy of a day had it gone through. However, this announcement last Friday doesn't have any bearing on the tariffs that were already put in place in September, so those stay as is. There's also no decision on the other tariffs that are just scheduled for December 15th. Basically, they said, hey, check back with us on December 15th, so I guess we'll have to check back on December 15th. Now, in exchange for this, so far, what has been agreed upon, China has agreed to buy $40 to $50 billion worth of U.S. agricultural goods. They're going to open up their financial services sector and grant concessions on IP for currency manipulation. It's interesting to note that the major stock indexes hit their session highs after the comments. So people like that. Now, both sides have a lot of, room to go. There's still weeks of negotiations ahead, but at least they're talking and not acting like they're on the playground, which is what has been going on for the past few months. With all that's taken place, it's said that this trade was and has been an anchor weighing on the economic growth of the entire world. And according to the Wall Street Journal, the former number 2, who's now number 1 at the helm of the IMF, Kristalina Georgieva, I believe I pronounced her name correctly. She's of Bulgaria. She said that this trade war could cost the global economy roughly $700 billion by next year, and that's not chump change. As I stated in multiple episodes on this podcast, the U.S. can't risk this conflict dragging out for an extended period of time, and neither can the rest of the world. It's just not two countries that are impacted. It's not just a few companies that are impacted. It's all the companies that trade and do business with those countries. It causes a domino effect that has major consequences and repercussions. So we need to really be mindful of this. And new leaders that come in, in different countries need to be mindful of how these all play a major role in all of our lives. Now, let's shift gears and let's look at some other business news and how companies can reimagine themselves. I don't drink beer personally. It just doesn't sit right with me, but someone listening to me does. So this is for you. Danish brewer Carlsberg, I'm trying to now give them a new name. Carlsberg, the Danish brewer, they announced last week that they're working towards having a fully recyclable paper-based beer bottle so they can reduce their carbon footprint by 30%. They also said that by 2030, they want to see their brewery emissions reduced to zero. Yeah, that's awesome. The paper-based beer bottles will join the company's other bottles and cans, providing customers with more options for their sipping, gulping, and chug-a-lugging experiences. Carlsberg isn't alone in the pivot from plastic. L'Oreal, Unilever, and others have made pledges to reduce their non-recycled plastic packaging. L'Oreal will be using cardboard-based packaging thanks to the collaboration with Albia. And Unilever has a 2025 goal to cut in half their use of non-recycled plastic. So that's awesomeness. Now, let's see what other news I can share today. Uber. They're stepping up their game by buying the grocery delivery startup Corner Shop. Can you see their angle? Oh, this is so crazy. They're going to go beyond just the Uber Eats restaurant delivery to also position themselves to seize a large share of the grocery delivery market. And I look forward to seeing their progress with this new acquisition. Now, let's switch from food to shoes, which are two of my favorites. We'll be switching back to food later on, but let's go ahead and switch over to shoes. I don't know about you, but I wear two shoe sizes. In women's, it's a size 7 and 7.5. In kids, it's a size 5 and 5.5. And depending on the style and cut of the shoe, of course, that's why my shoe is going to be either one of those two sizes. Well, there's a company by the name of Atoms, or I guess that's how it's pronounced, ATOMS, which is the first company to offer shoes in 1/4 size so you can find the perfect fit for each foot. Yep, each foot. They pointed out on their website there's a chance that at least one of your feet is 1/4 longer than the other. So within that mind, they're making sure that they have shoes that could accommodate that 1/4 inch difference. So visit atoms.com. That could be atoms.com, right, or atoms.com, to check out their shoes and all the cool features they provide. Like they have these really cool insoles with copper yarn to kill bacteria, prevent odor, and feel soft against your feet. So yeah, if you get a pair, let me know. Once again, visit atoms.com for details. Now, let's look at you and your business. One of the biggest mistakes people make when starting and running a business is that they don't ask for help and they don't do it often. Do you recall my list that I shared with you guys before, and I went through all these different things? It was previous episodes. I keep doing this. I keep sharing it. And remember, there's the lack of delegation, the lack of follow through, the lack of building and strengthening our personal and professional networks. The list goes on and on. Well, let's talk about asking for help. And this includes me too. I have a struggle with this. And if you guys have been listening to me in all these 17 episodes, you know that I will always be candid and transparent in that. Whatever I'm struggling with as an entrepreneur, I share this with you. Now, sometimes it's pride and sometimes it's the simple fact that we don't know what we don't know. So we don't know when, where, and why we need help and how quickly we need it. And that's why by the time a person reaches out for consulting, coaching, and therapy, they've almost or most definitely hit rock bottom. So one of the simplest ways of determining what, how, and when you need help for your business is by reverse engineering your mission and goals. And what I mean by this is look to the future and describe all of the things, people, and resources that you have within and working with your business, and then work backwards to today. So if you outline all of those resources that you have in the future to support the reality of then, and then you go in reverse, narrowing down that outline until you reach today, you can then see your first and next steps. If right now you're a solopreneur, it's just you and your ideas, what and who do you need to build the foundation for your business? When we get past the legalities and formalities of the business name and structure, let's just look at the raw ingredients for a moment. Are you mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, and financially prepared for the long haul of a business? We're going to discuss this further in episode 18 next week, but I just want that to marinate in your mind, now until then. And if we're going to keep it real with ourselves, because so many people are like, oh yeah, I have a business. I've had a business for 15 years. As I mentioned to you guys a few weeks ago, Gallup's CEO, Jim Clifton, said, without a customer, you're not a business. So if you just have a business in names by itself, you don't have money coming in, there's no customers, you don't have a business. You have a name. You have an idea that seems pretty cool to you. That's what it comes down to. So, how long have you been selling your products and services to customers? How are you marketing your products and services? How have you been building your brand and the awareness of what makes you and your brand different and unique than others? How do people distinguish you from others, right? How can they tell the difference between your tennis shoe and Nike's? How do people distinguish your products and services from others? Are your ideas yours or someone else's? Right? Are they yours, or did you piggyback off of someone else's idea, put a tweak here and there, and then call it yours? Yeah. So who's helping you with your business? Is it friends, family, or did you step out and hire someone outside of your circle? How's that person helping you? If you have more than one employee, how are they helping you? In what ways are you expressing to them their importance and value in not only doing their job, but in helping you so that you can focus on your strengths and skill sets? It's so important. What are you increasingly delegating to your team members so they can become more confident and competent in their roles and eventually be promoted to positions with greater authority and autonomy? These are the two things that we fail to give people in enough time early on. So many of us start businesses because we want this thing called freedom. But how free are you if you are handcuffed and shackled to your business? If your business can't make moves, can't operate daily without your hand on it and you there, then you aren't free. You're just another employee with a fancy title. Do you recall, have you ever read Robert Kiyosaki's cash flow quadrant? I remember many years ago when I first learned and studied the principles and system behind the quadrant, and I was hooked. There are 4 ways to generate an income according to the quadrant. You can have a job, which is just over broke. You're an employee. You can own a job, which means you're self-employed. And most likely you're paying people so they could just be over broke, just over broke, right? You can own a system, which means you're a business owner, or you can own investments as an investor. The core value of employees is a sense of security. And what do we always hear people say? They want job security. And the thought process is that somehow earning more money or working your way to the top or starting your own business will get you there. Then you have those of us that are self-employed. Yeah, that includes me. We're the consultants, coaches, accountants, dentists, lawyers, real estate agents, insurance agents, doctors, photographers, graphic designers, web developers, etc., etc., etc. We're all simply trading our time for money. Yeah, let that sink in because it's the truth. You started your practice, your firm, or agency business to have a greater sense of freedom. And ironically, we oftentimes work more hours than employees. And unlike many of them, they receive paid vacations and we don't. So when we stop working, so does our money. When we are required to work for income to flow in, we are required to work for income to flow in. I'm going to say that one more time. We are required to work for income to flow in. We can't afford to be sick, injured, or depressed. Our businesses suffer and can die if we aren't truly actively involved in the day-to-day. And we must always work if we want to earn a living. Here's another drawback to being self-employed. So many of us suck at delegating. Right? I mentioned that earlier. We suck at delegating. So many of us do. In our twisted minds, we believe that we can do things faster by doing it ourselves. We can get it done better because it's us. It's our baby. Until you develop the processes and system rolled out to a team that you can effectively delegate to, lead, and manage, you will never truly be a business owner. You will be self-employed, employee, handcuffed to your job. You will be owned by your business. Interesting enough, there are a lot of businesses with upwards of 400 employees who are still in the self-employed framework. Yeah, you think just because you have 400 employees that you're a business owner. Now, some of you are still self-employed because why? The founder, the CEO, is handcuffed to the company. Robert Kiyosaki initially defined a big business owner as one with a company of 500 or more workers and where the owner is not concerned with running the company, but rather hires highly skilled professionals to run and manage it for them. And when you've reached business owner status, then you can travel, vacation, be sick, or play hooky without fear of your company halting or collapsing. You don't have to rush back. You don't have to break your vacation off because something happened. Your business is generating money. It's running whether you're there or not. Business owners are in the position to create and reinforce a strong system and build a team that can support and enhance it. With a great system and team, a business owner can one day find themselves earning passive income. That's an income where you sleep and you're making money, right? Oh, that's where we want to be. That's the freedom that employees and self-employed keep talking about. So to go from the self-employed dentist, you need to build a large enough practice that has several other dentists, dental assistants, hygienists, and other specialists. You then have to have the support staff, front and back office staff, so that you can step away whenever you need to for as long as you want, and the system keeps cranking away. As consultants and coaches, unless you either build a team under you and bring aboard someone to handle operations, sales, marketing, accounting, etc., then you're stuck, and it sucks. Because you can't just say, well, I'll design workshops, seminars, and courses to generate added income. Unless you build a team to design, execute, and implement the curriculum for those workshops, seminars, and courses, you will still be in the same place, same position, doing the same thing. You just have more products and service offerings to manage. If you're the brand of your company, people are paying to see, speak, and learn from you. So you have to create a system and build a strong enough team to work the heck out of that system so that no matter who leads the workshop, seminar, or course, the customer knows that the quality is backed by the brand that you spent years building. The same is true for the photographer, graphic designer, lawyer, artist, accountant, and the rest of the list. Until you define, design, and implement a phenomenal system supported by a phenomenal team, you, my friends, are handcuffed to your business in the self-employed zone. You don't own the business owns you. Woo! Now, fourth category, the investors. Their money makes them money. Yes, their money is making them money. They have the freedom that so many of us desire, right? Just like the business owners, they have the freedom. They invest in businesses, real estate, stocks, and much more. They continue to reinvest their dividends and other returns in a system that pays them in their sleep. And when they sneak away for a month on an island or they just want to hide and nestle in their home, they can do so with freedom. Now, that doesn't mean that investors aren't also business owners. They can very well be. We know quite a few business owners that are investors. I have a question for you. Here's some trivia. Are the sharks from the TV show Shark Tank and is Marcus Lemonis from the TV show The Prophet, are they self-employed business owners or investors? Or are they a combination of two? So are they self-employed investors or are they business owner investors? Which one? Reply on our social media accounts, Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram. On Twitter, we're at ForemanLLC. At Facebook and Instagram, we're at Foreman and Associates. Make sure that you use the hashtag Don't Call It Small so we can tag this and track along. We're going to talk further about all of this in future episodes. So I want to share a quote with you from Cher Wang. She's the co-founder of HTC and VIA Technology. She's quoted as saying, quote, as entrepreneurs, we must continue to ask ourselves, what's next? It takes humility to realize that we don't know everything, not to rest on our laurels, and know that we must keep learning and observing, end quote. I totally agree with that. I totally agree. So let's take a slight pivot to something else that gets us in a lot of trouble. Let's talk about the various ways that you can protect your ideas and your business. For most of us, you've heard the terms copyright, patent, and trademark, but do you know their purpose and how they protect you? I want to thank Subculture Innovation for sharing a cool graphic that they found online a few months ago that breaks down all three of these resources in a simple and effective way without all the legalese and $30 words. So I'm going to be sure to share that graphic on our blog. Now, when I say copyright, patent, and trademark, which of these protect your ideas? If you said copyright, then you are incorrect. The correct answer is patent, and even that comes with a twist. A patent protects ideas that have gone from theory to actual application. You can't claim to be the innocent whenever you decided to replicate almost exactly the iPhone and sell it as your own. There's no such thing as innocent infringement when it comes to a patent. It takes an extensive examination process for the owner of the patent to be awarded those rights. So when you think that you're going to piggyback off of someone else's ideas and try to make them your own, you can find yourself as a party in a lawsuit. And trust me, that's no fun and it's no party. I went to InventionCity.com's website and they share some painful yet helpful insight. It was interesting. They said for some patent holders, the only way to truly know a patent is valid is to have it tested in a lawsuit and in a subsequent appeal. Ouch. If your patent survives this process, then you really know it's valid. And that's a painful way to find out, but it is a way. I don't know if you know this or not, but the Wright brothers, they spent many years defending patents that covered details significant to airplanes. I know that had to be excruciating. And when I was in 6th grade, my parents helped me design a concept that we coined the doorbell butler, and basically allowed visitors who came to your home to record a message letting you know the reason why they dropped by, obviously unannounced, right? And then when you returned home or retrieved the message, because you could have just been hiding in the house, you could call them on the phone or whatever. Well, it never dawned on us, my parents and myself, to patent the idea. It was designed for the school science fair at my elementary school. We didn't think anything about it. I received my 5th place ribbon, went on with my life. Fast forward a few decades, and now we have Ring, Simply Safe, Google Nest, and other devices that have souped up versions of my childhood invention. And I can't recall the inventor of the product before the Ring, but I do know when I saw his invention, I think it was like in the late 90s, early 2000s, I choked in absolute shock. I couldn't help but to say, did he see my doorbell butler? Did he steal my idea? I mean, imagine if I had patented that invention. I mean, lesson learned, lesson learned. So, some of you may be saying, well, what is a patent? And the basic understanding is this: it's whoever invents the idea owns the idea. It protects your rights to make and or sell an invention. It also protects your rights to license and sell it to others who will make, use, or sell it. A patent covers the details, and when it's sent to a patent office, they aren't judging if the details are valuable or not. They're just following through to make sure that this is your idea, right? It could be an invaluable patent or idea that you have. So there are various types of patents. A utility patent, which protects others from making, using, or selling your invention. There's a design patent that protects your new original ornamental design. You can also submit an application for a provisional patent, which establishes the preliminary protection for your invention, and it allows you to have an early effective filing date. I strongly suggest that you get assistance from a patent lawyer or some other specialist before you jump into the deep end of the invention waters. One recommendation is LegalZoom.com. I don't make any money from me sharing these recommendations. This is just me sharing recommendations. You can go to LegalZoom.com. Their prices start at $199, and you have to then, of course, pay the U.S. Patent Trademark Office filing fee, which is either $70 for a micro entity, $140 for a small entity, or $280 for a large entity. Most of you listening to me right now, you fall under the micro or small entity category, just letting you know. So trust me when I say it's best to get assistance from people who specialize in this area, as it'll save you time, money, and a lot of headaches. Now, someone may be asking about copyright. So what is a copyright? It protects your artistic intellectual expression demonstrated through visual, art, audio, and written form. It protects you against people copying your work and calling it their own. That's why your teachers, instructors, and professors always bark at you for not citing and referencing your sources. I say that to my students. When you use someone's work and they're not given full credit for their creation, then you're plagiarizing, stealing, and cheating. We've seen this a lot in the music industry with not only sampling of artist songs, but also the blatant reusing of lyrics. Oh my goodness. Yeah, we see that. Selling bootleg music and films. Hello, that's copyright infringement. So copyright is about establishing and enforcing the originality. So let's look quickly at some of the things that you can protect using a copyright. Literary works. If you don't know what that means, that's, nonfiction, fiction books, poetry, articles, periodicals. Performing arts, such as stage plays, sound recordings, lyrics, scripts, and music. Under visual arts, that includes artwork, illustrations, jewelry, fabric, architecture. They have other digital content like blogs, websites, databases, computer programs. Motion pictures. And let's be clear, they're not just movies and TV shows. They also include videos, animation, and video games. The final category includes photographs. And yes, that includes your selfies, your wedding photos, your family photos. Yes, you can get a copyright for those. Now, as many of you know, I'm currently writing 2 books, which means the best way to protect my work is to copyright it now, not once it's published. Imagine publishing your work, then waiting to copyright it, but someone else copied your work and submitted it to the Copyright Office. What? Yes, and it's happened. And what a doozy of an experience that has to be for the original creator. I mean, once it's published, the author has to then present and defend their claim that the work was theirs and that it was created at a time before it was initially published and before the copyright holder submitted the work as their own. It could be a legal nightmare, just an entanglement that can cause you great time, money, and pain to fix. So your best bet is to start the process in the early stages so that you can have everything approved and protected by the time you're done. Make sense? Great. Now, you may ask about branding and how do you protect that? Well, you do that with a trademark, and the trademark typically protects your name, words, logos, slogans, and symbols that identify a business or brand and distinguish it from others. Trademarks can include brand names like Coca-Cola or symbols such as Nike's famous swoosh. Your trademark could be like how the golden arches of McDonald's, right? We quickly recognize it. The trademark protects what is called the goodwill associated with the mark. It protects against confusion and dilution. Not delusion, not being delusional, but to dilute, right? Because people will try to do that. When someone is walking around with a fake Louis Vuitton product, it's not only insulting, it's also trademark infringement. That mark is owned by the person or company that owns the brand, not by you because you decided to create a replica. If you need help with protecting your business or brand, then I strongly suggest that you seek counsel from a lawyer. You can also pay service providers like LegalZoom.com and let them do all the hard work for you. Their prices start at $199. You, of course, have to pay them the additional money for the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office filing fee, which is either $225 or $275, depending on whichever system the office requires you to file. Or you can just do it yourself and go through all the research and filing and not get the legal assistance. You have options. I believe in options. There's your options. Now, another question that usually comes up is how long does it take, or not how long does it take, but how long do they last? If I get a copyright, a patent, or a trademark, how long do I own them? And the copyright lasts the life of the author plus 70 years. After that point, it becomes public domain. You know, I'm sure there's some legal ways in which you can have your estate be able to extend it. I'm not a lawyer, so don't ask me. Now, a patent, on the other hand, lasts 20 years from the filing date, which means you better stay on top of your calendar so you can refile and extend without any gaps. A trademark is protected in 10-year increments, so if you're still seeking to use that same mark in 10 years, then you need to refile for protection before the 10-year anniversary. Make sense? Cool. Please also understand that filings on the state level only protect your work within your state. If you want to be federally protected across the country, then you need to file federally. An author owns the copyright to a book the moment it is written, before publishing the book or looking at copyright registration. To copyright a book completely, you do need that added protection of federal registration. And this is also to all of the musicians and songwriters out there. Your songs, music, and lyrics are protected by copyright as soon as you record them in some way. So even if you use a rough recording on your cell phone, tablet, or computer, you're protected. But to get the full benefit of copyright protection, including the right to sue people for infringing on your copyright, you need to register it with the U.S. Copyright Office, either in written form or on taped or digital sound recording. Of the three that I just shared, copyright, patent, and trademark, the easiest to file for is copyright. The most difficult would be the patent. For copyright protection, if you want to register your book or other creative work, go to copyright.gov. I'll make sure the link is on our blog. The website is set up by the Library of Congress. There's an online portal to register copyrights for photographs, sculptures, written works. You fill out the form, pay the fee, you're registered. Boom, bam, you're done. They even provide a video on there to give you step-by-step instructions on how to complete the application. It's less expensive to register online. If you register and pay online, it's less expensive, takes less time. Some of you are going to still try to do snail mail. Just know that if you register and pay online, everything can be processed within 1 to 6 months, the average being 3 months. If you try to do everything with snail mail, that could take you between 1 and 16 months, and the average is 6 months. You see? And that's not including if there's having to be any correspondence between you and the office. If there's correspondence, those months will increase from 6 months to 9 months, and from 3 months on average to 6 months on average, and from the 6 month average time to 9 months if you're doing everything through snail mail. Now, also please know that you can register up to 10 published works on the same application, but you have to click on the link that says group of unpublished works. If you just do the standard application and you submit 2 or more unpublished works in the application, they'll accept one and the rest will get kicked out, and you have to then start all over with the other ones. Now, when we look at patents, if you want global protection for your patent, then you could shell out about $100 million. I mean, not $100 million. You could shell out about $1 million, $100 million, $1 million to about 200 to cover your patent in about 200 countries, right? But really what happens is that you file in countries where the idea will be made, bought, and sold, or you'll patent in countries that are heavily commercialized and competitive, right? You can also file what's called a PCT application, which is a patent cooperation treaty. And when I was on InventionCity.com's website, they talked about, and I liked it, so I'm sharing it. They correlated the PCT to the Common App for colleges. So basically, you do one application, and then the application is accepted by 150 countries. Another benefit to the PCT application is that it can help you, it can give you up to a 2.5-year buffer between submission of that and making the decision on which countries you actually want to file in, but at least it gives you a placeholder. And then after that period of time, that application is converted into individual patent applications. Now, there's of course some different things. There's costs to it. You have to get help with that. But also I want to be very clear with you, getting the patent is one thing, enforcing it is another case. There's certain countries like Russia, India, China, Brazil, South Africa, where it could be more difficult to enforce your patent, unlike in the US, Canada, Western Europe, Korea and Japan can be definitely effective. The United States is by far the easiest to enforce your patent. So now, enough with all that. Hopefully I've shared enough information that has most of you scrambling to get things in order. Hopefully many of you are taking notes so that when you're ready to take the next step with starting your business, you're prepared. Now, I'm about to share with you 2 businesses led by entrepreneurs that I know. Are you ready to be mad at me? Because you're about to be mad in about 5 seconds. I hope that you've recently eaten. Remember earlier we talked about food through Uber. We went to shoes, and I told you we're coming back to food. Because right now, I am looking at pictures of stuffed jumbo portobello mushrooms, bacon wrapped jalapeno poppers, collard greens with smoked turkey, and some yummy platters of all things yummy. And oh yes, there's these dirty black-eyed peas which pay homage to the Big Easy. And let me tell you what's in this side dish that can easily be a main dish. There are fresh black-eyed peas that are combined with crumbled country sausage, applewood smoked bacon, smoked ham hock meat, herb spices, and a side of white rice. Savory and smoky flavors keeps you coming back for more. And if you don't think you're a fan of black-eyed peas, just try these. You'll probably change your mind. I'm really thinking you're going to change your mind. If you say, oh, I don't eat pork, that's fine, because they can substitute it for smoked turkey instead. Are you salivating yet? Are you? Oh, okay. Well, if not, let me help you out. Do you love mac and cheese like I love mac and cheese? Well, then you should try their gourmet mac and cheese. It's baked with this blend of 8 creamy and smoked cheeses, sauteed onion, crispy applewood smoked bacon crumbles, topped with toasted panko breadcrumbs, deliciously decadent. They even have these chicken and waffle sliders. Oh, they're cute. They're cute. And they're yummy too. They just look so, Now, if you have a sweet tooth, I have a sweet tooth. If you have a sweet tooth, how about some gourmet strawberries dipped in an assortment of chocolate and other toppings? Oh my goodness, those strawberries, they look so good. They make your mouth water. They have dipped Oreos and other cookies like red velvet, peanut butter, pumpkin spice, and traditional chocolate chip. I am a chocolate chip junkie. I love chocolate chip. And if you love pie, they have pie. You can choose from sweet potato, pumpkin, peach cobbler, and pecan. Are you in agony yet? I know. I'm right there with you. Especially because this business is in Oklahoma City and I'm all the way in Atlanta. I'm in Atlanta. I'm a 12-hour drive away. Let me tell you about this family-owned home-based business. It started by my cousin. I mentioned this business, if you remember, briefly a few weeks ago. I gave them a shout out, and hopefully you've already reached out to them and had a chance to sink your teeth into their yummy creations. The company's name is Savor, and they specialize in rustically crafted party platters, side dishes, appetizers, desserts, confections, and more. They take pride in each and every customer they have an opportunity to meet, and they say that they love providing a down-home feel with finesse and refinement. As they say on their Facebook page, Savor Meals to Go takes pride in reimagining classic Southern and New American dishes, sides, and desserts. Whether you're feeding 1 or 100, you pick your selections and they make them fresh to order for quick pickup or delivery. Savor makes every dish, dessert, side, and more with love, attention to detail, and with a genuine hope that they have represented the spirit of home cooking and family. Oh, goodness. Look, if you're in OKC, that's Oklahoma City for short, or you'll be in the city, please contact Savor today. Tell them you heard about them on the Don't Call It Small Business podcast. Their phone number is area code 405-420-6497. That's area code 405-420-6497. Their website is savorokc.com. That's SAVOR OKC.com. You can email them at savororders@gmail.com. And they're on Facebook and Instagram at Savor Meals OKC. That's SAVORMEALS OKC. All right, now shifting from food to fashion. You see how I'm doing this? I went to food to shoes, back to food, now back to fashion. Let me share something with you. I'm going to share a woman that I first met in 2009 when she lived in Atlanta. And she had been nurturing and growing her, at the time, 4-year-old baby. That baby was called Sweet PR, a full-service public relations firm. A few years later, she moved from Atlanta to New York City. And now she's in my home city, Los Angeles. Matter of fact, she's in West Hollywood. whoop, whoop, where I used to live. This awesome woman is a style influencer who has a fashion, lifestyle, and beauty blog. And through her firm, JDL Consulting, she also provides coaching to equip and empower female entrepreneurs of faith to, quote, launch, build, and grow their businesses so they can live beyond their wildest dreams, exceed their revenue goals, and quit their 9-to-5, end quote. Through JDL Consulting, she and her team provide business development services in the areas of coaching, strategy development, startup launch assistance, product development, and business development. They also provide public relations, media training, press tours, social media training, brand identity services such as website and logo design, event concierge, and creative direction services. She's been featured in Elle Magazine, Refinery 29, and Essence Magazine as a top entrepreneur and fashionista. Who is this woman? She's none other than Janelle Langford, and her clients and partnerships include Miss Jessie's, Lexus, Lather, Project New York, Orgold Cosmetics, Becca Cosmetics, Banana Republic, and Saks Fifth Avenue. Janelle has a podcast on Apple Podcasts called Janelle Langford, the Life Stylist. I'll provide the link on our blog. I want you guys to contact her today to schedule a consultation and see if you and her team make a good fit. Tell them you heard about them on Don't Call It Small Business podcast. They are located at 8560 Sunset Boulevard on the 10th floor in West Hollywood, California. Their phone number is area code 310-893-5606. That's 310-893-5606. You can email Janelle at janelle@janellelangford.com. That's JANELLE at janellelangford.com. She's on Facebook at I am Janelle Langford, on Instagram and Twitter at Janelle Langford. Woo! All right, folks, you know what that is. You know where we are. It's that time again. It is. Yeah. It's time to wrap up. It's time for us to go our separate ways until next week. If you have questions or suggestions about this show, please email them to us at don'tcallitsmallbiz@gmail.com. That's biz with a Z. I want to share a quote from Steve Jobs, and I hope that it resonates with some of you. I hope that you really get a feel for it and it just really does what it needs to do because it's such a great quote. Steve Jobs said, "Your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life. Don't be trapped by dogma, which is living with the results of other people's thinking. Don't let the noise of others' opinions drown out your own inner voice. And most important, have the courage to follow your heart and intuition. They somehow already know what you truly want to become. Everything else is secondary," end quote. Those are awesome words from Steve Jobs. Those are awesome. Let that marinate and sink into you so that it becomes you. With that, be sure to check us out on Instagram and Facebook at Foreman & Associates and on Twitter at ForemanLLC. Be sure to also follow us and share us with your friends, colleagues, and family. You can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn at Natasha L. Foreman. Reach out to me, say hello, share your story. I look forward to meeting you. Don't forget that you can also text us your questions. Yes, don't forget, text us your questions. And let me give you that number because I already know. There's going to be someone who's going to be like, oh, what was the number again? The number is area code 404-481-1849. That's 404-481-1849. Please note that standard messaging rates apply, and this is a text-only number. This number does not accept voice calls. I repeat, this is a text-only number. This number does not accept voice calls. I want to make sure that I give proper credit for our show theme song. It's called Higher Up, and it's by Shane Ivers. Thank you for tuning in to the Don't Call It Small Business podcast, for sharing these episodes with others, and for your continued support. And don't forget what I tell you on each and every episode. Don't call what you're planning, thinking, dreaming, or doing little or small. Go big, go bold, or go nowhere. I will see you here next week for episode 18 of Don't Call It Small, where we will have you look closely and examine yourself to answer the question, do you have what it takes to survive and thrive in business? And of course, I'll share a few entrepreneurs that you should get to know. Have a super awesome day and week.